Hey, thanks for joining me for another Slido responses. This is coming from the June 11th sermon, and I got a couple of interesting questions here. June 11th was talking about Jesus being the son of David, and we talked about genealogies. And one of the questions is it true that both Mary and Joseph are descendants of David? Now, the genealogies that we see in Matthew and Luke both show that Jesus comes from the line of David, but they are different in a couple of significant ways. Number one, the direction of the genealogies is different. Matthew's genealogy starts with Abraham and then works its way down toward Jesus. Luke, on the other hand, starts with Jesus and then works his way back, and not just to Abraham, but all the way to Adam. Both genealogies show that Jesus comes from David, but they differ in which one of David's sons the lineage continues from. You may not notice it, but Matthew traces the lineage through Solomon, while Luke traces it through Nathan. And so, couple of what's going on there kind of deal. Okay. There's also a difference in how many generations are included. So Matthew lists 42 generations from Abraham to Jesus, dividing them into sets of 14. Luke, on the other hand, lists 76 generations from Adam to Jesus. They also have different purposes. Matthew's gospel, we think, was written primarily for a Jewish audience, and his genealogy demonstrates that Jesus is the Messiah descended from Abraham and David. Luke, on the other hand, we assume is writing for primarily a Gentile audience. He takes the genealogy all the way back to Adam, emphasizing that Jesus is the savior of all of humanity, not just the Jews. Now, there's a question about Joseph and Mary, right? And so some scholars think that Matthew's genealogy is Joseph's lineage, and that Luke's genealogy is Mary's lineage. Again, this is all just kind of guesswork. So, to the question, is it true that both Mary and Joseph are descendants of David? I think so. I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of some guesswork, but if we assume that Luke is Mary's genealogy and Matthew is Joseph's genealogy, then we would say yes, then they both are, but coming from different branches. And there would be, according to Matthew's genealogy, 28 generations from David to that day. And so are they somehow related? Yeah, but even if they weren't related through David, they would still be related through Jacob, if that makes sense, like several generations before, because all Israel is ultimately related through Jacob. So anyways, that's my response. I think so. Okay. The next question is a little different. Do you feel that crime will drop significantly if we bring back floggings? Yes and no. I think that our current criminal justice system probably doesn't work very well, in part because the time between the crime and the punishment is so far removed, right? I think that if the crime and the punishment were to occur pretty close to one another, I think that the punishment would have a more detrimental, or like be more of a deterrent, right? Like if you were to murder this person, you knew that tomorrow you would get caught and hanged. That would like maybe deter you from killing that person, possibly. Yet the danger in having punishment really close to the time of the crime is probably You might, bring some people to justice who actually were innocent. And so our process gives a lot of time to make sure that those who are guilty are actually guilty. And even then, our system is broken in so many ways. And you hear so many stories of people who go to jail for something they didn't commit. Okay, so to the question, do you feel that crime will drop significantly if we brought back floggings? Yeah, maybe, I guess. I think the bigger problem is that you'd have to really change the whole view of our justice system, that if the floggings are occurring months or years after the crime, no, I don't think that it will significantly deter crimes from occurring. If it happened very close to when that crime occurred, like within a matter of days, then yes, but I think we might be flogging a lot of people who actually didn't do something wrong. So I don't know if that's actually helpful. I don't know why you wanted to know that from me, but that's my thought on it. Thank you for joining us for these Slido questions and responses, and we look forward to hearing more from you soon.